Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Full Credit to Not Another Rugby League podcast. I'm your special guest, former legend, and you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and that vacant echo chamber that is Blue Sky at former_legend. Let's kick off what caught my senses in the past 7 days. I don't know if you heard about it, boys. It's these three blokes in California who got busted on an insurance scam using someone in a bear costume to stage fake attacks on luxury cars. There was a viral video handed to insurance as evidence. It seemed to show a bear in a 2010 Rolls-Royce Ghost. And then there was another video with the bear in two high-end Mercedes models. But biologists at the California Department of Fish and Wildlife reviewed the footage and determined it showed a human in a bear suit. The state insurance department launched Operation Bear Claw. You knew that was always going to get a win. And they executed a search warrant and found a bear costume in one of the suspects' homes. The fraud apparently amounted to $141,000 in insurance claims. Now, they were sentenced on Thursday to 180 days in jail, plus 2 years of supervised probation. Kind of ironic they might go to jail, because I've heard you meet lots of big bears in jail, and you'll definitely scream if they come and attack you at night. Well, you'll scream at first, but you'll get used to it. Anyway, let's do a recap of Round 8, which of course was Influencer Round in the NRL, where numbers of social media influencers were given free entry and sat in some of the best seats, stealing oxygen from the public and posting about it on TikTok and Instagram. One of Australia's biggest social media influencers there, Steve Philp, and he posted on his Instagram, "Guys, I'm actually so cooked because the NRL just blessed the aura with some front row seats to the Roosters Dragon game tonight. No gatekeeping. This view is literally clutch. I'm out here for the vibes and the phantom tax on the stadium snacks. It's already going to be crazy. If you see me on the big screen, just know the Riz is on 10 today. Massive W for the boys, and we are locked in. FR, this is peak life. #AD. Philpy was later seen being flogged by his family, which is fair enough. So let's start on Thursday night at the 8th wonder of the world, Leichhardt Oval, where the team of destiny, the West Tigers, beat last year's minor premiers, the Canberra Raiders, 33 points to 14, dropping the Raiders to 14th on the ladder. As you expect on a big momentous weekend like Anzac Day, Anzac Biscuit League's Adam Dewey scored 2 tries. He kicked 4 goals and a field goal to single-handedly beat the Raiders. Imagine if you made him your Supercoach captain.
All airlines have crashed at one time or another. That doesn't mean that they are not safe.
Qantas.
Qantas?
Qantas never crashed.
In one of the game's many highlights, the Tigers were well in front with just 2 minutes to go when runaway interchange forward and one of the great hunts of the world, Royce Hunt, ran for 30 metres and was heading directly at Raiders fullback KO Weeks, who immediately somehow slipped into self-preservation mode and sidestepped the big bloke to let him crash over for his first try for the Tigers. And what a scene that was. Friday night saw the Cowboys host the flat track bullies, the Cronulla Sharks, at Queensland Rebank Stadium and beat them 46 points to 34. I never know whether to feel sorry for Shark supporters. Are you upset knowing that you won't win a grand final, or are you happy knowing that every year you'll be in the top 6 but won't do much? Whatever the answer, they're doing it again this year, winning every second week and going missing every other week. Up in Townsville, the Sharks played like they were wearing the clothes that they were on the field with. They're going to wear them later in the Mad Cow. No one wanted to get a grass stain or, heaven help them, some blood on their shirt that they're going to wear later on while they're trying to cut one from the herd at the Mad Cow. This is the Cowboys' 3rd win at home at Queensland Rebank Stadium. And the old trick of handing out drink cards to the visiting team at the Townsville airport is back and is clearly playing massive dividends. The second game on Friday night was from Bjelke-Petersen Stadium, where the battered and bruised Broncos team beat the Bulldogs 32 points to 12. You have to feel a bit sorry for the Dogs side, who beat the Panthers 2 weeks ago and are still waiting for their premiership rings in the Mad Monday celebrations. Fresh from doing a successful 4-week course at the Valentine Holmes School of Rugby League Defence, Bulldogs winger Juan Pablo Montoya carried on his recent dog shit form, with the Broncos scoring their first 3 tries off the back of his cluelessness. The Japanese carving knife Shibasaki, he scored 1. Natural herb Stiffy Pill Karapani scored another 1. And defensive driving instructor Ezra Mem all scored down the Dogs' right-hand side to make Montoya look like a genius in Brisbane. Saturday afternoon and the first game on Super Saturday was the traditional Anzac Day game at the magnificent Electric Scooter Stadium between the Roosters and the Bye. And the Roosters were too good, beating the Bye 62 points to 16. It was an 11 tries to 3 demolition by the Roosters, who peppered shaky fullback Tyrone Sloan with more bombs than the Gaza Strip. But the game was never a contest, particularly after the Dragons had 2 players sent to the bin by referee Grant the Diet Atkins, pot plant Lucio Leilua in the 16th minute, and halfback Daniel Atkinson in the 29th. Despite the flogging, St George Illawarra really embraced the spirit of the Anzac in this one, so much so that after the game they were removed from the field one by one on the back of Simpson's donkey. The second game on Saturday afternoon was over at the magnificent Muffin Pan Stadium in Wellington, with the Warriors beating the Dolphins 20 points to 18 in a close 4-tries-to-3 arm wrestle. The match was tight, but with 20 to go, referee Liam Kennedy handed out a sin bin to Thomas Schmegma that cruelled the Dolphins' revival. The Warriors have never missed finals after winning 6 of their first 8 games of the season, and right now they sit second on the ladder, while the Dolphins look like they've been caught in a John West tuna net. They are 2 from 7 and running 12th, losing their last 4 games. These are all worrying signs for their team, where only a third of the squad already know the team song. The final game on Super Saturday was from Ronald Coutut Stadium, where the Bunnies were the latest team to stick a knife into the coaching career of Craig Bellamy.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me.
Beating them 48 points to 6. It was a huge game for Origin Smokey. How good is an Origin Smokey, boys? Tallis Duncan Biscuits, who scored 3 tries. He made 29 tackles, had 3 line breaks and 8 tackle busts, putting him firmly in the eyes of Laurie Daly for Origin 1. For Melbourne, they lost a 6th straight game for the first time since 2002, while the Rabbitohs finally got their first ever win in Melbourne in their 21st time of trying after 28 years. To put that in perspective, 28 years ago, Craig Bellamy was sane and Souths coach Wayne Bennett had solid stools. Sunday, and the Knights hosted the Panthers at Jackie McDonald Stadium, and going into this one, the Knights announced that Kalen Ponga, the Strawberry Milkshake kid, had re-signed to stay with the Knights for another $7 million. And the news was well received by his teammates, who went on to score 2 tries on the night, while the Panthers crossed for 8 of their own to win 44 points to 12. The biggest shock from this game was that Milky Jenkins didn't score a try, although to be fair, it was played in the sunshine, which plays havoc to the spawn of Satan. But I tell you who did score. You probably don't know this, but...
And if you didn't know, you don't know Brian Tor. This man has the stinkiest ass I've ever been around.
Well, that guy crossed for a double. And the final game of the round, the Seagulls beat the Eels at Foreskin Park 33 points to 18, as Manly Supercoach Kieran Foran remains at 100% win rate in his coaching career. Not to state the bleeding obvious, but it makes sense now to retire and go down in history as the greatest coach that ever graced the game. Para were brave in this one. However, injuries struck again throughout the game. Professional Xbox player Dylan Walker cropped an injury that put his arm in a sling and may have him on the sidelines for a month, not only for the Eels, but also for Call of Duty. But the Seagulls were deserved winners. It was their first game without Tom Trebojevic, but it was hardly noticed as his replacement, JB Nkola, was rock solid at the back. Parramatta now sits 15th on the ladder with 3 wins to their name. Only struggling sides of Storm and Dragons are going worse than them right now. So that's round 8 wrapped up, boys. A round where Craig Bellamy was embarrassed, St George fans were humiliated, and Philpy was finally himself. Back to you in the Nathan Brooks Memorial Studios.
See some action, baby.